Well, it's been an interesting and eventful summer with lots of ups and downs, new jobs, college offers, a small fire at the house, and just all kinds of things. So today I thought I would dive back on in with setting some monthly goals and give you guys a little bit of recap of what's been going on this summer. Hey guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. My name's Abby. I'm a homeschooling mom of two. Here on my channel, I take you through our homeschooling through high school journey, but I also like to share just kind of a real look at mom life, especially as a working mom who's just got lots of things that she's trying to balance from day to day. And I do try to be very consistent in sharing goals videos with you guys. I like to let you know what things I'm working on in the different categories. It helps keep me accountable by sharing those things with you. And also, I'd like to hear what sort of things you are working on as well. So I always encourage you to put your monthly goals down in the comments so we can just encourage each other back and forth. I think that helps to kind of have, that group of friends, whether it's in person or online, who are just helping to support you towards your goals. Now, this summer, though, I kind of took a break from setting goals in July. I was basically kind of like in survival mode, it felt like. It has been an extremely challenging summer. Parenting wise, it's been challenging. We're just getting at that stage with teenagers where sometimes things are hard. We are kind of dealing with ups and downs with some health things. We are having really wonky weather that's impacting stuff. We've had some damaging storms and things like that. And then, just trying to deal with a new job, new schedule, balancing that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd give you just a little recap of some of the things that have been going on, and then let you know what I'm going to be working on for the month of August, because I am back at it. I have my bullet journal here with my monthly goals put in place, and I'm hoping that I am finally kind of, getting that balance back that I normally have, because the summer it was gone. But what's been kind of going on? Well, let's talk weather-wise first, because I was like, do I curl my hair for today? And then I decided, no, there's no point, because we are dealing with some crazy humidity for like the last week and a half, the kind where you walk outside and you feel like you're swimming in the air. The feels like temperature is like 20 degrees higher than the actual temperature. It's just, humid heat is just crazy. So we've been dealing with that. Now, overall this summer, though, we've had a couple of big storms, like in June especially. We had some big storms that definitely caused some damage. The property we live on, we are blessed to have lots of very large old trees. I have no idea how old they are, but huge old trees. We had one that died that we're still waiting to get removed because it's a huge expense. I mean, it's an enormous tree. It's going to be so sad to have that out of our property, but it needs to go. We have several large trees that are right near our house, and so we always watch those very closely when storms are coming. While we do keep them trimmed up, we have an arborist come every 2 or 3 years to thin it out and make sure there's nothing that's directly overhanging the house. Something always comes down in big storms. We've had full trees come down on the property. We've had big branches drop on the property. We've had things blow over and get damaged. And so we had what's called, I think I'm saying it right, a derecho storm, which is basically just kind of like a high-powered wind and thunderstorm, and it definitely caused some damage, and we had to repair that. We also had a small structural fire here at the house. Thankfully, it was something outside that caught fire, but it was close enough to the house that we have a section on our back patio where all of the siding melted. And we got the fire out really quickly, but the damage was already done. So there is a big section of our back patio siding that is just one big melted mess. And yeah, that was a fun expense we weren't expecting to have this summer. So we're thankful nobody got hurt. All of my like emergency training like kicked in, where you kind of go into just action mode, like, oh, something's on fire. Someone grab the fire extinguisher, here's it at, grab the baking soda, like we got it out. We got the fire out really quickly. But, because of where the damage is, we basically have to cut out and replace like a whole big section of our siding. Now, the last time we had our house sided was a long, long time ago. So one of the things that we know is going to happen is there's going to be a color variation. And so now we're discussing, well, do we just replace this part and have it be a slightly different color than the rest of the house? Do we do something different because it's right along the back patio? Or do we ask how much it would be to reside the whole house and just jump in and make that big change? So we're debating on what to do while trying to keep it covered, so that way when we do have storms, we don't have any risk of water coming into the home. It's made for a little bit of an eyesore in the backyard for sure. Right? Life. So that's great. But at least it wasn't the house catching on fire. Thank the Lord for that. It was just something that was close enough to the house that it caused that damage. Anywho's, on top of that, the weather's been really weird. Like I said, the humidity's really bad right now, which is like, if my hair looks really frizzy, I didn't even bother to curl it because there's no point. But we had really high temperatures in June. They dropped off really oddly in July, which made everything that was in the garden just kind of react differently. It's been a very interesting year as a gardener because some things are just loving life and are looking amazing. And I've shared quite a few little videos and stories and posts over on my Instagram page if you'd like to see photos of the garden, or if you'd like to see kind of the things I share on a day-to-day basis, you can check out that. And the productivity of different things has been weird. Overall, I'm happy with what we're getting out of the garden, but it's just very odd to see what things were very productive last year that aren't this year, and what things, flip over. We did have our corn rows attacked by a herd of deer, and they went through and they ate every single ear of corn. Every single one. I was so mad. So I'm going to have corn stalks for decorating this fall, but we have no corn to actually eat, which led us to the discussion of putting up fencing next year. And that is also an expense I wasn't expecting to have, but it's going to need to happen to protect our vegetable gardens next year. On the college front, I am so proud of Emma. So proud. She's had a knockout year at her golf tournament. She's been doing great. We have a big tournament here in town. It's the Fort Wayne City Women's Tournament. It's a big event each year, and there are lots of older players. There's very few junior players or high school age players. There's a lot of players who are in college or have graduated college, have been playing golf for a very long time. And she placed second overall, which is amazing at her age, because very rarely do we see anyone in her age group get anywhere near the first couple positions. So she had her best round of golf ever at that tournament. It was fantastic. It was so much fun to watch her. We were so proud of her. She got to get interviewed for a newspaper article, and it was wonderful. So she's having a knockout golf year, and she got a verbal offer to play women's golf in college, Division I school in Indianapolis. And it is her first choice school on top of that. It's a school we had visited. She had loved it. It has the degree field she wants to do. It actually has, it's going to be great because she knows now that she wants to continue on and work towards becoming like a physical therapist. And we're just so excited for her. So she accepted that verbal offer, and so we now know where she is going to go and play golf. And you're probably asking, well, where? Well, we're going to make an official announcement. We're looking to do like the professional photo and make an actual announcement about it. But she did accept a verbal offer. It did come with a scholarship offer, so she's super excited about that. And I think it's just a weight off her chest, to know where she's going to be at. She likes to have that plan in place. Now she knows where she's going to go, and we can start completing the steps for that. So when I do kind of like an NCAA update video that I'm working on, we'll announce it then. And then she will like officially sign a letter of intent in the fall when they set those up. But we're just super excited for her. She's worked so hard for this, and I'm so incredibly proud of her. So that was definitely a huge highlight of the year. And then other than that, it's just been a very busy summer. Like I said, there have been some like challenges parenting wise, but I've been working through those. My work schedule, I came off orientation in the new job, and I'm at the point now where we do like self-scheduling, where I can get the schedule a little more balanced out to what I need it to be. Before, for almost the whole summer, I was working on the schedule they had set for me originally to match me up with a preceptor. And I asked on like week 3, I said, can I just be off orientation? I'm like, I'm good. I've been a nurse for a long time. I'm good. And they said that was fine, but they didn't change my schedule. They still kept me on the same schedule as the person who'd been precepting me. So that made for a little bit of a challenge because it just wasn't the ideal way to group shifts based off like the rest of how the rest of my life goes. I had 3 camping trips this summer so far. We actually have a 4th one still coming up. This is camping with my troop. So we split it up and we take different age groups at different times. And we have like a big all troop trip with like 50 people coming up, which will be a lot of fun. But we've been to Chain of Lakes State Park, Pokagon State Park, Turkey Run State Park, kayaking, horseback riding, bunch of hiking, all kinds of things. It's been really fun for that. And yeah, and some of the other things I'll tell you when we recap June goals. So if you're brand new here, or if you're just checking out one of my goals videos for the first time, I actually have 6 categories of goals. I usually share 5 of them here. I have a faith and personal goal, health goal, home and garden goal, family relationship, homeschooling, and then I have a work/business goal. And that's usually the category that I don't share. I'll tell you a little bit this month though about what I'm working on, and I give you a recap of how things went. So let's just start off with faith and personal. Way back in June, I had the goal of just getting through Vacation Bible School. I've been the Vacation Bible School director at my church since I think Emma was 2, so 15 years-ish. And it's so much fun. I love it, but it's incredible how much work goes into a 1-week program. There's just so much that leads up to it, and then the week itself, there's always stuff that you're kind of dealing with as the director, and ups and downs and fixing things and whatnot. Vacation Bible School is so much fun. We had a blast. The kids had a blast. It was like a carnival theme. So we had like faux roller coasters going around places and a faux Ferris wheel. Music is always great. It lives rent-free in my head for the whole rest of the summer. And we just had a remarkable group of volunteers. I actually had my biggest group of volunteers ever for this year's one. For next year, I'm actually writing our Vacation Bible School program. I had talked to my pastors, and I'm like, if I've been using programs for 15 years and I don't know how to write one, I'm like, I feel like there's a problem there. And we had talked about kind of what we were looking for in a program, what I have liked and not liked about programs we've seen. And we came up with a theme. In fact, we came up with 3 years of successive themes, like kind of building a story basically over 3 years. So working on writing a VBS program, going to be working in conjunction with some different people at my church who have much higher skill sets in some areas than me. For example, when it comes to music, I'm going to be working with people from like our choir and our music programs. And when it comes to, designing decor and the crafts and things like that, working with people with great art backgrounds. So I think that'll be a lot of fun for next year. But overall, we had a great Bible school. Goal for faith and personal this month. I am trying to get back into Bible journaling. I have one of the huge, LifeSpring Bible journals, big spiral bound Bible journal. I love Bible journaling. I really do. I love having that art component while I'm also studying. So what I had been doing in the past is I would do a Bible study, or I'd be working on a certain devotion set. And then after I had completed the study, I would go in at least once a week and I would journal a page in my journaling Bible that went along with what I was studying. And it was just a way for me to kind of creatively express what I was getting out of those verses or out of that particular lesson. I haven't journaled a single page in like 3 months. I just haven't had like 5 seconds to sit down, much less an extra half an hour to an hour to sit and journal. And I really miss it. I miss it. I just need that quiet time, and I need that centering time. So I want to get back into working on at least a few journaling pages per month. Now, I've got a stack of new devotions. Daily Grace Co. had a great sale, And I picked up a stack for myself while I was getting devotions for the kids to do for the school year. So I'm going to start one. I'm going to kind of get back into the habit of doing a sit-down devotion. I have been doing a lot of just kind of like podcast versions of devotions or audiobook versions of devotions during the summer. And so I've been listening to them as I've been working outdoors. But now that we're kind of doing that transition back into a homeschool year, I'm going to get back into the habit of sitting down and working on these. Typically, I work on them in the mornings, but depending on, how my work schedule is, I might be even doing them in the evenings. But I'd like to work back in. My goal is to try to journal a page a week. So at least one page a week. So hopefully I'll have some beautiful pages to show you guys at the end of August. In the home and garden category, so my goals in June were to, one, price out and start to kind of shop around for things for a bathroom remodel, and to get a couple of our closet areas deep cleaned and reorganized. So I'll show you real quick here because I did film just a quick before and after. So we have a front closet that I actually redid for a video for this channel. I kind of revamped it 2 years ago. And it's maintained itself pretty good, but you still have to pull things out and clean out things. And there were so many things that we weren't using in there. So we kind of filtered those things out and just got it all looking better. So I got that one done. And our cleaning closet, which had turned into a disaster and just needed a little bit of a refresh and reorganization. So the cleaning closet is done and the front closet is done. Now, my kids' bathroom is also the bathroom that like our guests come and and they use as well, and it's one of those rooms that hasn't really been touched much. We've painted it, but it just needs redone. It needs new flooring, a new shower for sure, new vanity. It just needs an update. And it's one of those projects where there's parts of the project that I know that my husband and I can tackle. Like, we know how to do the vanity and the toilet and the flooring, but neither of us really wants to tackle the shower. So we figured we're probably going to have to contract that part out. And the best thing to do would be to slowly purchase all of the things we need for the remodel, have them all here at once, because once we tear out that bathroom to start work, one, we don't know what we're going to find. If there's going to be like water damage, or if there's going to need to be like subflooring replaced, we don't know. But once it's torn up, the kids will be sharing our bathroom until it's done. So I'd really like to be able to have it all arranged to where, hey, we're doing the tear out, and we know like when we're going to have somebody come in and put the shower back in and all of that, and be able to maybe get it done in like a week span, hopefully. So I needed to start choosing what it is we want to put in there. So I'll show you the inspiration board that I made. I have been going through and I've got a list of where all of these different things are at and how much they cost, so we can start kind of purchasing bits and pieces and gathering it all together. And once we have it all together, then we'll get things scheduled out. But I'm pretty excited with the color scheme and everything. I really started to kind of drift towards this whole idea of having some blacks and whites with some gold accents. I didn't want to do anything that was like real bold colors, because I'd like to be able to tweak and adjust the decor in there as the years go by. So I'm really happy with what we chose. Let me know what you think. It should be an interesting change up for there, and we're hoping to get that done some point this year. If we do, I'll show you. For the month of August, though, August is a huge canning month for me. So simply keeping up on canning and food preservation, because there's so much coming out of the garden. Tomatoes and green beans and broccoli and potatoes and onions and just tons of stuff. We've already started harvesting our onions and our potatoes. Things have been coming out in batches. So I've been doing these weird canning batches where it's couple cans of pickles and a couple cans of tomato sauce and things like that. But we'll get to where we're having like big bulk canning sessions, and I'll film a few things on how we can and do food preservation. So if you've never canned before and you'd like to learn, I can show you just some of the ways that we have been doing it, because we usually end up with quite a lot to save back and use over the course of the year. So there are going to be big canning days in August, and I just want to keep up on that, because it's a lot of work to do. It's a lot of setup, and but it's worth it, right? To know what you're eating and that you grew it and everything. The other thing I need to get done in August is my craft room needs a deep clean. I love my craft space. In fact, I did a tour video showing you my craft space. If you'd like to see that, it's in my well, I'll link it for you if you'd like to see what is kind of like my craft room. So this is my sewing room. It's where I do my Cricut stuff. It's basically just where I do anything crafty because I quilt and I love it. But there are a lot of extra things in there. You know, you kind of gather stuff over time and then it just kind of sits there. So I really need to pull things out and determine what it is I need to keep and what I need to get rid of. It also just needs a good, you know, wipe down, clean, dusting, and all of that stuff. But it would be really good for me to kind of get things organized for projects I want to make for upcoming Christmas gifts, just so I have it all organized in a good manner. So craft room, deep clean, and canning. In the homeschool category, my goal for June was to get the homeschool room completely cleaned out and to get started on lesson planning. So the homeschool room did finally get cleaned. I think I showed it over the course of 2 vlogs. No major changes to kind of what's down here. We actually just took a few things out. Like the mini fridge is gone that was down here. The 9 drawer unit that my daughter was using, it looks like this one is gone because she doesn't need it anymore. We just repurposed that elsewhere in the house. But it was just getting it cleaned up because it's amazing how wonky the rooms get over the course of the year. New books to organize, all of that stuff. And then lesson planning has been, you know, getting ticked off a little bit at a time. I've been working on what I can as I can. I put up a series showing you kind of how I lesson plan different things. I was trying to film ones to give you guys an idea of how to do a variety of stuff. So I showed you how to do novel studies, how to incorporate those, how to do a a traditional curriculum, how I look into the materials and find the information that I need and then turn that into a schedule for our family. I have another one that will be coming out that's going to show you how I'm looking at a health course that my daughter is doing, a health and anatomy course, which is an entirely non-traditional curriculum, the very literature-based and activity-based. So how to approach one of those. So I thought hopefully that is helpful just to see the approach to different types of curriculum. I'm pretty much done at this point, and I've like I said, I have at least one more video that I'll show you in that series. So yeah, a couple things to tweak here and there. One of our back-ordered curriculums is set to arrive at some point this week, and then I'll be able to get that one done, and lesson planning is done for the school year. In the homeschool category for August, 1, making sure that the final prep is done, and then 2, just getting ready for our first kind of week back to school. My daughter's dual enrollment classes don't start till later, so she's only going to have kind of a light load to start with. My son will be starting with kind of everything all at once, and I do like to try to make the first day of school special. Get the kids like a couple of little gifts just to kind of, you know, highlights the first part of the year. If there's something that I feel would be really helpful for them for the homeschool year, I give them that at the same time. Make a special breakfast, you know, stock us up on snacks, just kind of being ready for that first week back to just a normal homeschool schedule, which for us, there's no normal anymore. Everybody's schedules are so crazy. My daughter's still going to be golfing at this point in time, and she's working at a golf course and then just found a job that she'll be transitioning to as the golf course closes for the season. So she's going to work in a coffee shop. My son's interviewing for a different job. So, I mean, we'll have work schedules. We'll have my work schedule to figure out. We'll have the homeschool schedule to figure out. It's going to be a little different this year, but it's also my daughter's senior year. So I really want to make this first week back to school special for that. So just doing those things for the homeschool category. In the health category, in June, we were trying to figure out what was going on with like my skin issues. So I've been having, I gave you an update on what was going on as far as biopsy results and whatnot there. But I was also kind of dealing with the fact that like my eczema had been going out of control, and I'd been getting like these really painful rashes like on my hands and arms where the eczema just was flaring up really, really bad. And I was trying to talk with my doctor on ways that we could manage that without having to me to constantly take some sort of a steroid, because I feel like garbage when I'm on any kind of a steroid, and I really wanted to avoid like being on prednisone all the time, all summer long. We did find some treatments that seem to be better. It's still a steroid based, but a different one, and that seems to really have helped with like the flare-ups. I had one other flare-up this summer, but we were able to start treating it right away, and thankfully it did not get as bad as the ones that had happened in, what was it, like April, May, June timeframe. So hopefully we have got that under control. In the health category for August, one, I have a goal of no eating out this month. Like no drive-through food, no Starbucks, nothing. One, we are pretty well stocked up here at home. And two, we have so much produce coming out of the garden. So much produce. And while, yes, we do can and save back a lot of it, we also want to eat it fresh. So I have been trying a whole bunch of new recipes lately and filming different ones. I'm going to probably do like a compilation video where I show you like 4 or 5 different recipes using, you know, all of these fresh ingredients. And what's exciting is the ones I've made so far, with the exception of like the meat, everything came out of our garden that we used. Everything from like the herbs to the garlic to the vegetables, like we grew it, and that's been really exciting. But I want us to really try to eat good, you know, high quality, healthy meals, and also save the money from eating out. So kind of a win-win in that regard. So no eating out. We're going to eat stuff that we've made here at home. The kids have gotten back into wanting to do meal prepping because both of them go to the gym several days a week. They're both athletes. They have really been kind of watching what their intake has been and what kinds of foods they're eating. And they have enjoyed doing meal prepping the last month or so, where the two of them, sorry, that's my stomach growling. I hope the camera didn't pick that up. It's very early in the morning and I haven't had breakfast yet. The two of them discuss what they want to have as their meal prep meals for that week. And then they make them, and they've got little boxes to prep them. And so it's really helpful for them to be able to have something to kind of grab either for lunch, or if they're having a late night at work or a late tournament, something that they can grab and heat up. So I've been really proud of them for taking that initiative and putting that together. And it also, I mean, it's one less thing off my plate, because a lot of evenings I'm at work, and I feel bad that I'm not there to like make dinner and everything for the family because I'm at work, but they have been making sure that they have healthy things to eat. So no eating out for their family and relationships. In June, my goal was simply to spend more time with everyone over the course of the summer, get some days in at the lake. My best friend has a lake house and has kind of an open door invitation that we can go up whenever we want. I've tried so hard to spend as much quality time with the kids this summer as I can. I've been going to Emma's golf tournaments when I'm off work and watching her golf, because it's beautiful to watch her golf. It's so much fun. Watched Ethan play in a couple of tournaments. Ethan ended up coming and helping out with Bible school this summer. He helped lead one of the younger age groups. He did a remarkable job. He did so good. He's like perfect with like that kindergarten, first grade age group. And I'm like, you should be a kindergarten teacher. He does so good with that age group. It's so much fun to watch him interact with them. And they just thought he was the best. And I loved it. It made my mom heart happy to watch him interact with the little kids. So we got to spend quite a bit of time together that week because we were both at Bible school. We got a couple days up at the lake, which was wonderful. It's so relaxing up there and peaceful. I mean, we lay out in the sun, we swim, we grill, we just chill with books. I mean, those were just wonderful, relaxing days. Now, obviously, at the age they are at, so my son is 16 and my daughter is 17, they spend a lot of time with their friends, in the summer. And my son with his girlfriend and my daughter with her boyfriend too, and everything. And I understand that. I was a teenager, and I know how much you want to get some time in the summer with your friends, because everyone gets so busy once the school year starts. So I've definitely been, I've been fine with that they've been wanting to do those things as well. But I have gotten some time in with both of them. Some weeks it's a struggle, and some weeks I'm, kind of trying to decrease my stress and say it's really okay that you didn't get those things done because we're here with the family. And I'm trying to get better at that, at letting those other things go, because that quality time is so important. It's just, it's my brain. Sometimes it's hard to turn it off. So relationship and family goals for this month, though. One, it's my daughter's senior year, so we want to plan a family trip that is kind of one that is her goal trip. What does she want to do? She has mentioned a couple times wanting to go out and see some of the national parks. She's mentioned Utah a few times. And we've also discussed some other places like south of us. So she needs to pick a location. But we like to plan some sort of a family trip probably for the spring, like when we take our spring break, to go out and spend a week somewhere. Probably get rent a vacation home and then do whatever it is that she wants to do. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat all of a sudden, and needed to go grab some water. Anyways, this is my daughter's senior year. I want her to be able to choose the family trip. She doesn't want to do something like a Disney trip or anything like that. She really wants to go, what she said is she wants to go somewhere where there's no plan, where we can decide each day what it is we want to do, but have options to choose from. And she really enjoys being out in like the national parks and hiking and outdoor stuff. So once she kind of picks where she wants to go or what national park she'd like us to visit, I can find a place to rent nearby. And then we'll kind of see what other activities are available in that area. If it's something like if we decide to do a day where we're doing like horse trails, or if we do a kayak trip or something like that, obviously I have to book those kind of things in advance. But we're going to start getting that planned out, because I would love for her to be able to make as many of the decisions on that trip as possible. The other thing that we're doing is we are getting ready to do an assessment. My son's getting ready to do an assessment with a group called the Nectar Group. And this is a group that I found at the Homeschool convention. I went to a couple of their seminars, and then I basically like haunted their booth for like an hour talking to the rep. But they work with kids and teenagers who have a variety of different diagnoses, ranging from autism to ADD, ADHD, just kind of anywhere along kind of the spectrum of anything that would, impact kind of like executive functioning, I guess would be a good way to put it. So they do have clinical psychologists on staff who can give you like official diagnoses if you need an official diagnosis. Or you can simply do like evaluation testing, where it looks at what different kind of categories of activities do you struggle with, and then they work with you to determine like a program on how it is you can make improvements in those areas. Because I talked to the rep for a long time about how I know that I have ADD, and I know my son has it, even though he's never been officially tested or diagnosed. Like, when you know, and especially if you have it, and we've been able to tweak and adjust things within our homeschool to help with that. However, I know that there are just certain skill sets that are a struggle. And while I have made my own adaptations in life to help me, I feel like flourish, right? To the most part, but to be able to do well regardless, what works for me won't always work for the next person, and what works for me doesn't always work for him. And so I'm kind of at a loss of how do I help in that regard. So we're going to do, it's like a 3-hour eval where they go through and they have you do all of these different kinds of tasks and things like that. And then they will come back and they'll say, okay, well, here are the areas where he does really well. Here are the areas where he struggles. And here's our plan of action, what we think we should do. And they have you work with basically like on these video calls with someone on building those skill sets. And I'm probably explaining this really poorly, largely because it's so new to us. We're going to see what we think of things and how it goes. But I'm hopeful that that will, one, help him be able to build skills kind of related to academics as far as prioritization, note taking, studying, test taking, things like that, that have just been things that we needed to work on in order to help him be successful through these latter years of high school and then later on in whether college or trade school or wherever he goes next. And as we kind of go through it, I'm going to take lots of notes and see what I think, what he thinks, how it goes, and then we'll report back and we'll let you know what we think of all of it. And if it's something that's beneficial to us, I'll share more about the Nectar Group and the work that they do. But I want to have that time to get familiar with them as a company and their approach and see how it helps or doesn't help us. So we'll do that. And then I'll just tell you real quick on the work business side, because I don't normally share work business goals. However, mental health course coming along. I am working on writing assessments for it right now. So quizzes and tests for that one. And then I would like to make sure that I'm being a little more consistent for you folks here on YouTube. The summer was wonky. Some weeks I didn't get videos up at all. Some I only got one up, and they've been on different days and on different times. And I apologize that I am just all over the place. I'm trying to be better about filming ahead, editing ahead, just having things ready so I can get them out on a fairly set schedule for you guys. So that's one of my goals, is to show a little more consistency as we go into August and the rest of the year. So we will see. Those are my goals for the month of August, guys. It's just been a wild summer and lots of things going on, but hopefully we can get back into the swing of things here now that the new month is starting. Again, let me know down in the comments, what are you working on in the month of August, or what are some big successes or challenges that you faced during the summer? I love to hear from you guys and just see what everyone is trying to work on. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video, everybody. I will see you in the next one. And until then, happy homeschooling.